Throughout history, people have always tried to avoid property tax. In this video, I'm going to give you 3 examples of how people avoided property tax in the past. Hopefully, by learning from these historical examples, you will be inspired to come up with your own. I think the first one is very creative. It led to some very interesting architecture around Europe. And in the past, countries, particularly like France, they based their property tax on the area that the building was built on, not the total area of the building. So it taxed the area on the ground that the property was built on. In an effort to avoid tax, people made their ground floors smaller than the upper floors. The floors got bigger as they went up, and this led to some very interesting architecture as well as some very interesting streetscapes. And some streets, as the floors went upward, they got closer and closer together, and eventually they came so close that the buildings on the upper floors, or the rooms on the upper floors, were nearly touching each other. Some homeowners took it even further by trying to build over water to avoid the tax completely. The next one I don't really understand, and I have no idea why some kings thought it would be a good idea to bring in or what they were really hoping to achieve from it. But people found a way to avoid it anyway, and that was the window tax. The window tax was a property-based tax based on the number of windows within a home. It was applied in countries like England, France, Scotland, Wales, Ireland during the 18th and 19th centuries. To avoid these taxes, some homeowners in this period blocked up some of their windows. The tax was introduced in 1696 by King William III. It was designed to impose a tax relative to the prosperity of the taxpayer. The bigger the house, the more windows the house was likely to have, and the more tax the occupants were likely to pay, i.e. it was a tax on the wealthy. However, the tax was extremely unpopular because it was seen as a tax on light and air. People did block up their windows to avoid this tax, but blocking up windows didn't start with the window tax. It is quite kind of a myth that it started at this time, but back in Europe, some buildings were built and designed to have some windows blocked up so there would be some symmetry within the building. But blocking up the windows did become commonplace at the time to avoid the tax. But some people became even more creative and came up with a very creative solution by creating one window that stretched over a number of floors. There is a popular myth that the saying daylight robbery did originate from the window tax, but I'm not sure if this is the case. Another property tax that shaped the city and the design of the buildings was Amsterdam. The property tax was based on the width of the house on the street. This led to some very narrow buildings being built within the city. Homes were so narrow and the staircases within those homes were so narrow, the residents couldn't bring furniture up through the house or up through the staircase, and therefore they had to design a system that allowed them to bring furniture in through their windows. This led to another design feature that is easily seen or easily spotted with a lot of old houses in Amsterdam, and it's a pulley system on the top of the building that is designed to help residents get furniture into their homes. Property taxes can shape a city and the architecture within that city. These 3 examples show the lengths that people will go to avoid paying property tax. Avoiding property tax is nothing new, and people will always go to great lengths to try avoid it or reduce their tax. These are just 3 examples of how property tax can shape a city or shape the architecture within that city. If you have any other examples, please put them in the comments below. I'd love to hear from you guys, and as always, thanks for watching.